What's up, everyone? I wanted to take a quick minute just to kind of go over a little bit of who I am and where I'm coming from. Whenever I'm talking to parents and students of mine, I think it's important that they understand that I'm not just speaking from book knowledge, but I'm coming from a place of experience. And with that said, a lot of us as parents fail to recognize the trauma that has occurred throughout our life and what makes us who we are. And then we pass that on as generational trauma to our kids, not knowing it unconsciously. So, I think it's very important that we understand why we do the things that we do, or say the things that we say, or what makes us, who we are. What trauma or experiences did we have as kids? What were those that bled over into our, from our adolescence to our teen years, to our young adult, and to our adult lives that we now pass on to our own children? And then we sit back and we wonder, I know I did, we wonder why our kids make the decisions that they make or act the way that they act. And it stems a lot of times from, our own demons. So, how do you break that, those generational curses? So, personally, what I had to do, I had to self-reflect. And in that self-reflection, I found, a lot that happened when I was a kid affected who I have become as an adult and the choices that I made as an adult. Bonehead choices and decisions, still making boy type decisions as a man. So I had to actually grow into that man while being a man, quote unquote man. So, it's important to go back and do a self-reflection to understand what makes you who you are, so that you can then see those signs in your kid, and then help them and give them the tools and equip them to overcome and defeat those same challenges and demons that we had when we were kids. Help them overcome those as well. Some of the things that I did, is when I started acting out, there were specific reasons why I started acting out. I saw, a lot of my friends, being African American, there's a certain expectation that comes along with being African American. Living up to that or into that persona, so to speak, became part of my everyday life and everyday experience. So I started acting out, and I started trying to be like those other young black males who were doing those things that society expected them to do and expected them to be like. So I started acting out and being like that, and getting into things that I had no business getting into. So what that helped me understand was, when I saw that in my kids, I was like, oh, wait a minute. I know what this looks like because I've been there. And then understanding and being able to give them the tools and equip them to navigate those experiences. And sometimes, I'm not saying that it was easy. One of my kids, I had to send to a private school to get him on the straight and narrow. And then, I know that we don't all have the resources to do that, but, it was one of those things where I had to make a decision. Do I see my son go to jail or worse, dead? Or do I sacrifice and, go broke in the process, trying to get him to where he needed to be, so that he doesn't fall into those same pitfalls that I did. But what I try to do now is to help parents understand how to help their kids navigate those challenges, because the trauma that we as African American men and women go through is really it's problematic to our culture. It's problematic to our families. It's problematic to ourselves. And if we don't pivot and shift when we see those things happening, then some very detrimental and scary things can happen. So, with that said, I think that, as parents, what I wanted to pass on is that do a self-reflection of yourself. Do a self-reflection and go back and just start thinking and maybe even journaling, what makes you who you are. Because if we don't know ourselves, then we definitely can't be empathetic to our own kids when they are going through some of the same challenges and they're facing some of those same demons that we did. So we need to understand ourselves and who makes us, what makes us who we are, so that we can then be empathetic and help our kids and give them the tools and equip them to overcome maybe some of the things that we weren't able to overcome, that we're still trying to overcome, or some of those things that we were able to overcome. As a people, we are so resilient. I mean, when you think about everything that we as blacks, as African Americans have gone through, what our ancestors went through, we are some resilient people. But at the same time, that resilience is also seen by society as being able to handle or tolerate anything, and we don't need help, right? So, and that's another issue, and why we are the numbers of depression in our society is growing at an astronomical rate, because that mantra that we have, what happens in this house stays in this house, has actually become a nail in the coffin, so to speak. And we need to be able to reach out to others, a family member or a counselor, or someone. We need to talk to people. We suffer in silence, and we see our men and women, we see our brothers and sisters, dying every day from suicide, right? Or self-medicating, overdosing, alcoholism, all of these things, even health-related issues like, diabetes, heart conditions, all of that can be related to trauma that we see in our everyday lives. And the fact that we hold a lot in and don't talk and discuss the problems that we're actually facing and that are going on in our own lives and our families. And we need to try to get away from that and start reaching out to one another, start seeking that help, seeking that professional help, ensuring that our kids have the resources that they need to go through life as well. And again, we are resilient people, but we do need to reach out when we need to, and we can make it. This video here was just simply to kind of tell a little bit about me, because after growing up where I grew up, one of the poorest states in the country, and I was raised in one of the poorest areas of the poorest states in the country. So I went through like a lot of bullying, a lot of racism, trauma, childhood molestation. I went through a lot coming up. And, I know that was a driving factor, kindling, so to speak, for the fire that burned deep inside me to become, something better than what my circumstances predicted that I would be. So I won't get into all of that, but I just want you, the parent, to know that one of the first things that you can do to help your child is to do a self-reflection, to go back to understand what makes you who you are, why you do the things that you do, why you act the way that you act, or say the things that you say, to better understand your kid and why they do the things that they do, say the things that they say, act the way that they act, and then we will be able to equip them with the tools to navigate life's challenges. Again, thanks for checking this video out. There'll be more to come. I'm Coach Mitch. Leave a comment down in the, if you have any questions, you can leave a comment down below this video, and I try to get back to everyone as quickly as possible. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.